You came to me in that hour of need, when I was so lost, so lonely. You came to me, took my breath away, showed me the right way, the way to lead. You filled my heart with love, showed me the light above. Now all I want is to be with you. You are my one true love, taught me to never judge. Now all I want is to be with you. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Mustafa, ala habibika nabiyika Mustafa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The topic of our discussion today is predestination and free will. This is a very sensitive and also a very fine topic, so we need a full concentration on this issue. It has been misunderstood a lot, and a lot of people has not managed to explain about this very important issue properly, so that's why there is a lot of misconception and also misleading discussions concerning the issue of Jabr and Ikhtiyar. The whole issue is that are we predestined, are we have decided for, are we obliged to do things in our life, or we have got free wish and free will and we are able to decide and do things. So this is a philosophical discussion which has been discussed in the centuries. It is not also an Islamic discussion. It has been discussed in the divine discussions of Christianity also. They had this discussion before, but unfortunately up to this moment only Ahlul Bayt school of thought has managed to give us a proper explanation about the whole issue of Jabr and Ikhtiyar and the issue of predestination and free will. Let me explain what is meaning of ikhtiyar or free will if we are discussing about this issue. Those people who believe that we are free and we have got freedom of choice and we can do whatever we want, they believe that God only has created us and He is not interfering with our life. He has given us full choice and full responsibility, and He is nobody when you are making any decision. So you are responsible for every action that you are choosing to do, and on that discussion you are the only one who has made the decision. That is the one side of story. The other one says that we are predestined. We are nobody. We have no choice. All decisions belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the Almighty. He is the superpower. He is the only power in the world which exists. Not even leaf of a tree will fall without His wish and His will. Everyone is under His commandment. His power is so that no one has got any choice beside his choice, and his wish and his will is the only thing which is moving around. So human being does not have no option and no choice, and whatever is happening is decided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have to accept that destiny. We are predestined. That is the other side of story. Now, each of these has got its own problem. And we have to understand those problems and also come to the right conclusion. What is the opinion of Ahlul Bayt school of thought, or what is the logical way concerning this issue? Okay, if you believe 100% that we have got freedom of choice and God is Mr. Nobody, you have actually denied the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is powerful. Allah has got authority. Allah is controlling everything around the world. You have actually denied the existence of God and the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is all over, and every action in this world happens with power of Allah. As we say always, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-aliyyil azim. That's our belief. Nothing in this world happens without Allah's wish and Allah's power. La hawla wa la quwwata. No power, no authority, no any change happens in this world without power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you say that everything is predestined and we have no choice, that is completely illogical. Because, I mean, I can just decide to move this, and I really moved it. It was me. I decided. I am deciding to speak words and it's coming out. I decide to say yes. I decide to say no. You decide to sit here. You have made a decision to come from your house and sit in this lecture and watch. You can decide now to look at this picture or close your eyes and no looking. So you are actually making things happen. It's not that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is deciding about us. We also decide, and the reason of that things that we decided happens. We every single day decide and our decision happens. So that means that we are not Mr. Nobody. We have got freedom of choice, so we also can make decisions. So, if you believe that God has created everything with a predestination concept, then you have actually denied the freedom of choice by mankind. And if you believe that we have got total freedom of choice, you have actually denied the existence of God and His superiority over everything. But here we have to see the consequences of all of this. For example, if we believe that God has created everything with predestination concept and we are Mr. Nobody, then just imagine everything which is happening in this world, it is not going to be related to me or you or anybody else. Whoever has done any job in this world, it is not him who has decided to do so. It is God who made him to do so. So there is no bad person, there is no good person. All of us, we are tools for Allah. and he is just playing with us around. He is doing things, but using me, using you. It is him who kills. It is him who rapes. It is him who steals. It is him who is telling lies. It's him who is doing oppression, using me. I'm under his supervision. He is so powerful, I cannot do anything. He is using me. And I am used by God because I have no power. He's just created me. He has so power that whatever he decides and wish that happens, and whatever I do is not my decision, it was him. He wanted to kill Imam Hussein, so he used Yazid. So, in this scenario, now what you should deal with Yazid, how you should deal with Yazid. In fact, Yazid is Mr. Nobody. Yazid is Mr. Nobody. Yazid says, listen, it was not me who I killed Imam Hussein. It was God who decided to kill Imam Hussein. He just used me. And you can trace the philosophy of Yazid and the school of thought of Yazid by the question that Yazid asks from Zainab Salamullahi alayha in that majlis. You remember that famous question? And the beautiful answer by Zainab Salamullahi alayha. What was the question of Yazid? How did you find the act of God with your brother? That says, I believe in philosophy of predestination, in philosophy of Jabr. I am a Jabri. I believe that in this world nothing happens without God's will, and Allah has actually put me into this position to be the ruler of you. You are Mr. Nobody. Don't come with your stories of revolution and this, and don't fight with God. It's power of God. He has given to me, and now with my hand, with my ability, God has actually killed your brother. How did you find now the act of God to your brother? It says, I didn't kill him. Allah decided to kill him. He used me. That is what the question means. And the beautiful answer of Zainab, that ma ra'aytu illa jamila. Only beauty. What a great answer. What a great answer. I only found everything to be so beautiful. He didn't expect such a good answer. At the end of the day, Zainab is the daughter of Ali. The tongue of Ali is in her mouth. The logic of Ali is in the mind. So, that means all the time in the history of mankind, all oppressors were believing in philosophy of Jabr. In philosophy of Jabr, that we are predestined and we have no power. It is God who decides. So don't raise your voice and don't fight. That is the story of Saudi kings. That is the story of Shah here and a lot of other rulers around the world. Umayyad, Abbasid, all of them, they believe in philosophy of Jabr. It has got an historical story that I have discussed about this in previous discussion also. So, but the story is something else. The story is that actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had a world out of angels, which these people, they were worshipping Allah for years. Pure wisdom. No any desire. No aql. No any will and wish and freedom to do anything. The angels of God has no freedom of choice. They are machines. They are robots for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever Allah decide, they are the tools for Allah to do whatever they want. Has no freedom of choice. But that was boring world. Allah wanted to create a type of environment and create type of people that they should have freedom of choice, and they should have the ability to choose, and they should have wisdom for them to do whatever they want, bad or good. Bad or good. Allah has given us the ability to do bad or good. Not that Allah has given us the ability only to do good things. No. Has given us the ability and power and choice to choose right things or wrong things. Why? Because only in such an environment it is possible to reach to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to become a good person. Goodness will have meaning there. There, goodness will have meaning. Okay? Like in this hall that we have, if none of you have choice to come to these classes, I mean, automatically you have been pulled out of your houses, out of your bed, out of your wherever. You have been pulled to come here by force. There was no merit. I was not going to be honored. I was not going to be so much proud of all of you for being here. It was a metaphysical force pulling you all around here. You are not able to say that I had freedom of choice to come here. I choose to come to these classes. And I was not also able to say I am proud of my students because these people, are coming to listen to my programs. It was not an honor for me, and it was not an honor for you also. You have been pulled out. There was no choice. Choice comes for us to be able to progress, to reach to somewhere. With a choice, you can climb all of those stairs to reach to the highest position. You have the choice. In the world of angels, there was no choice. And the poor angels only are used by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a tool to do whatever Allah wants. They cannot tell lies. Sorry. They cannot commit no sin. They cannot backbite. They cannot do anything wrong. It's a boring life that they have. But alhamdulillah, Allah has given us the choice for us to be able to kill and don't kill. For us to be able to tell lies and don't. For us to be able to cheat other people and don't. Then goodness will have meaning. Goodness will have a translation. Goodness will have a platform that you are able to climb. An angel cannot become a better angel. A human being can become better human being. If you do good things, you will go higher than angels. But if you do bad things, you go down than the animals. Asfalus safilin. And that was not possible. It was not possible to have such an environment without giving the freedom of choice. So, the first goodness of having free will is that it's a wheel for perfection. It's a ladder for going high. And then it is the most important aspects of human being. The only thing we have is that choice. If you just take the choice out from human being, then what are you going to have? Nothing. If you don't have freedom of choice, we have actually nothing. Your humanity is that freedom of choice that you have. If they take your freedom, they have actually taken your humanity. You should be free to do whatever you want. And then, if you don't do wrong things, you are a good man. Goodness will have meaning. And that is the only difference between man and angels. The human being and angels. So, freedom of choice is everything you have. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you the freedom of choice to choose whatever you want. Now, if we should not believe in totally freedom of choice, in total freedom of choice, and from the other side, if we should not also believe in predestination, so what is the way forward? And also, I have to explain about qaza and qadar. I will come to qaza and qadar a little bit later. Let me explain about that. Between freedom of will, which is jabr, and ikhtiyar, which is the predestination and the free will, we don't fully believe that we are predestined. We are not also fully believe that we have got freedom of choice 100%. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, Amrun bayn al-amrayn. It is the way between. We are not fully predestined, that Allah has chosen everything for us and has actually decided for you. And from the other side, Allah has not left you with full authority to do whatever you want. We are between, and I explain to you how we are in between. Can you please close that door? Oh, yeah. For me to simplify the whole issue, the whole world is like this computer. To create this computer, probably 5,000 engineers, the most genius people of the world, they came together in this factory, paid off, they taught for hundreds of thousands of hours. They have sat down and they have taught about every aspect of this computer. Every aspect of this computer has been taught of. Somebody has decided for. Somebody set. Somebody decided. Somebody designed. Fully authorized designers, fully knowledgeable engineers has sat down and designed this computer. And they have created so many buttons there. And for each of those buttons, they have introduced an effect. That is philosophy of cause and effect. Cause and effect. Each of these buttons is a cause. And as soon as you press, you will see the effect. Finish. Now, we are not free to change the setup of this computer. You cannot change the keyboards. You cannot change the screen place. You cannot remove the keyboard. You cannot do anything. Computer has to remain intact as it is. It is not allowed to touch it, to remove any part. As soon as you remove any part, you interfere with the whole computer, you are not going to have any computer anymore. Don't interfere with the fabricators and makers of these computers. They have decided for this computer fully, and they were knowledgeable people. Don't change those buttons. If it is written U, don't go and change the U to For example, tea. You cannot. In fact, the computer doesn't allow you. The factory doesn't allow you to interfere there. That is what? Predestination. That we have to just choose either this computer or that computer or this mobile or that mobile. We have freedom of choice to choose this and that. But when you decided to buy this computer, then you are obliged to deal with this computer. And those are the only buttons that you have. You have no choice beside that. You cannot go and introduce another 10 buttons there, down, here and there. Yeah, that's the whole setup is this one. Sun is only coming from east. You cannot change it. Fire will burn. You cannot change it. Sorry. Water is wet. Don't change it. You cannot change it. It is wet. Sugar is sweet. This is what the whole setup of the world. Every cause has got an effect, has introduced. God has introduced for every cause an effect. You have got a setup called world that you cannot change. Weather is like today is hot because the sun to the earth is, the distance is so much that it is hot. Tomorrow it will go far and it will be cold. When it's raining, you cannot stop. When it is windy, you cannot stop. That is the situation. Just choose. You have to accept that we are predestined with this stuff in the world. The world that you are dealing with living, that world has already has designed, and every cause has got an effect. You cannot change it. Sorry, leave it. But now, fire burns, water wet. All of this cause has got an effect. You have got freedom of choice. You have got freedom of choice to put your hand in the fire or not. If you put, it will burn. So simple. If you put, it will burn. You press any button here, that happens. I press this one, it happens. That's the cause and effect. Can't change it. I cannot change it. You should not try to change it. You cannot decide tomorrow I want the sun to come from the west. It happens without you having any choice. But you have the right to go under the sun and get vitamins which is coming from the sun for your skin, or you decide to stay always in home and don't use the opportunity which is there. It is raining outside. You have got the choice to sit at home and don't get wet, or you have got the choice to go under the rain and get a little bit of that pure water which is coming from up. It is you who has got freedom of choice. You are freedom. You have a total 100% freedom to choose any button in the boundary of the designed computer. That is the philosophy which we believe. Amrun bain al-amrain. We are not free to change the effects and the causes, but we have got free to choose any button and see the result. So simple. We have got freedom to choose any cause and see the effect of that cause. That is so simple. Amrun bain al-amrain. So we have got freedom in the boundary of every cause that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. But those causes has got an effect. You choose anything, you will see the effect immediately. Don't blame anyone. Don't blame angels. Don't blame this. Don't blame that. Don't blame God. It was only you who has chosen that cause and you saw the effect. Finish. That is very much understandable. Now, there is another issue called qaza and qadar that always we discuss about. It is also similar to the discussion. It is a little bit different, and that is the whole issue of predestination. When we say Allah has made this qaza and qadar in the night of, like for example, Laylatul Qadr, we come and says this is the night of predestination and Allah is deciding for everyone. You know, all of those discussions. And let me explain about the whole issue of qaza and qadar. Qaza and qadar, both of them actually has got one meaning. With a little bit of a difference. Qaza means God has made fire to burn. That is what Allah has judged, what Allah has decided, that fire should burn. Now, qadar is fire will burn if you touch. So simple. It is not the issue of predestination that you go there and, you know, that Allah has decided for you. No. In this world, everything has got a measurement. Everything has got a measurement. That measurement works. The qaza and qadar for the water is H2O. The qaza and qadar for the heart is to beat 72 times per minute. The qaza and qadar for your body is to have so much sugar, so much iron, so much of magnesium, so much of fat, so much of everything in this body is with measurement. A little bit of that measurement, if you go high, it's a sickness. If you go down, it's also a sickness. Measurement in everything has to be the balance in everything, as we discussed it before, that point of balance. The point of balance is the issue of qaza and qadar, that Allah has made it such that the water should be burned, should be boiled at the degree of 100. And the same water should be frozen at a degree of 0. That is qaza and qadar. That Allah has made such a decision, made this material, that physical, that chemical things, such that it should have that particular function. That is qada and qadar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there is no such thing as predestination that you have been decided in Islam. We don't have all of that. Please understand this properly. That we have not been born to go to hell, and we have not been born to go to paradise. You are the only decision maker for your hell or for your paradise. You have got freedom of choice, and you can change. Even the qaza and qadar of Allah, you can change. Once Imam Ali alayhi salam was standing next to a wall which was about to collapse. So, as soon as Imam Ali alayhi salam realized this wall is about to come, he ran away. He just ran away. And the wall collapsed. Some people were standing there, said, you escaped from will of Allah? You don't believe in Allah? Why you escaped the wall? And Imam Ali alayhi salam, so simple, answered, I have escaped from qaza of Allah to the qadar of Allah. It means, look, I have got a wisdom. I have got freedom of choice. If I was standing there, the qaza of qadar of Allah was for me to die. And if I escaped now, again the qaza and qadar of Allah is for me not to die. Okay, so it's not that we have to, that only when you die it is qaza and qadar, and if you don't die, that is not the case. if a thief steal, it is with power of Allah. And if he decide not to steal, again it is with the power of Allah. And the example of that is the electricity that we have here. This electricity is available for every single person in this town, no matter what he is doing. If he is stealing, using the same electricity. If he is typing wrong words with a computer, using the same electricity. If he is using it in a very good way, he is still using the same electricity. So, easily you can say, with the power of city power, I have wrote a very good poetry. And the other one also says, with the power of city power, I have steal a car, or I went into the house and stole TV. You can say so. Because if there was no electricity, you didn't know even where is the TV. Okay? The third road which is around in all towns, it is made by the city council for everyone. Thieves are using it. Good people using it. Bad people are using it. So good people says, I use the tar road with the city power. With the power of city power, I have managed to, do this good thing. And even the thief says, with the tarred road and the power, I was empowered by the city power, by the city council to go and steal today. It's all because Allah's power is shared between good people and bad people. All of us, we're using the air of Allah. All of us, we're using the facilities that Allah has given us, the wisdom that Allah has given us. The thief is using Allah's wisdom to steal. A good person is using Allah's wisdom to write a good article. Both of them are empowered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So power of Allah is general power to everyone. That is when we say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-ali al-azim. It means nothing happens in this world, good or bad, without Allah's power. Is that type of power. Like the electricity power. We have electricity, and that electricity is provided for the town, for everyone. The city power has actually provided the electricity for everyone to use, the good people or bad people. The same way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given wisdom to everyone. To everyone. You can use it goodly, you can use it badly. But both of you, if you use it badly or goodly, both of you are empowered by Allah. Not that when you do good things, it is with power of Allah, and if you do bad things, it is not with the power of Allah. No. Allah has given you freedom of choice, and Allah has given you the ability to do bad things. So with the power of Allah, you're doing bad things. Using tongue of Allah, using wisdom of Allah, using the power that Allah has given you, you're doing something wrong. That is the bad side of it. When you think about sin, you get so much shame that I am using, like for example, you working for city council. But in actual fact, you are working for Ministry of Energy. That is so bad. If you're working for this company, then you have been given all facilities to work toward the benefit of this company. Now you using the benefit of this company, working for another company. That's a crime that we every single day we commit. Allah has given us power. Allah has given us energy. Allah has given us wisdom. Allah has given us air, ability, everything, physical health, wealth. All of these facilities, Allah's facility, has empowered me and you to do good things, but we are doing always, every action that we do is against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, that is the whole world. Now there is two questions that we have to answer. before I ask you to ask your questions and to answer your question, because these are the two general questions that everyone asks always. One is, free will is affected by our internal desires, so we are not free. You may ask that question, that, you know, I want to be a good person, but yeah, you know, a lot of things doesn't allow me. I am, for example, bachelor, and I don't have a wife. So I have to, you know, I am affected by this desire, internal desire to do something wrong. And that is not my decision. I didn't want it, but look, it is a situation. I am poor, for example. I don't have food. I am hungry, so I did steal this, or I do that. I am jobless, so that's why a lot of people that you ask him, why you asking for money, or the beggars here? Yeah, look, I am a jobless person. A lot of these people that when you arrest them, when they are stealing, you ask them why you steal. He says, because I am a jobless person. So it means that if I am jobless, that affects my life. And these internal desires that we have, it pulls us toward doing something wrong, so we are not free. We don't have freedom of choice. The answer is that, of course, yes, these things can be effective, of course, and Allah recognizes when it comes to counting your responsibility. You who has got a wife and doing something wrong, with the one who don't have a wife and doing something wrong, you are not equally dealt with. Definitely there is a difference in law. If somebody is jobless and hungry and he is still, is different from somebody who is not jobless and who is not hungry and he is stealing. Completely there is a difference in fatwas, in regulation, in laws, in authority, in punishment, in everything, in responsibility. Allah is not asking you the same responsibility. A hungry man's responsibility is less than a very rich person. A powerful person's responsibility is more than a powerless person. But it doesn't give you, takes all of your control. To that extent that you have control in your life, you are responsible. So, not that desires are going to force you to do some things. We have, and the example of that is hundreds of very, very good people in this world whom they are under the same type of pressures that you are, but they are very good people. They have decided not to be cheated with the internal desires, and that's why they are very good people. The goodness of them emerge and come out when they actually fight with the internal desires. So internal desires are recognizable. It is true, it can affect, but to that extent that it can affect, you will be less responsible, but at the end of the day, it doesn't take your freedom of choice. You are also free to do and go against it. The second question is, God knows about our actions, so we cannot do anything against God's will. Always I've been asked this question, that look, do you know, all of us, we know that God knows everything from now up to end of the world. God just knew that today you are going to also come here and I will have this presentation, and just now I'm going to do this. All of that Allah knew. So if I'm doing this, it was something that Allah knew. And if something Allah knew, I cannot change the knowledge of God. The question, listen to the question very clearly. I cannot change the knowledge of God. So things goes according to the knowledge of God. So we have no freedom of choice. Everything in this world happens with the knowledge of God. And God knows everything from now up to the end of the world. The question is, so we are not free. The answer is that the knowledge of God concerning things which is happening in the future is exactly like knowledge of a teacher concerning his student at the end of the year. Look, you are my students, you come here, you know, I am giving you everyday marks, everyday question, I everyday interact with you, I ask questions, you answer me, I give homework, you do, you bring it to me, I read, and I compare between the 100 students that I have, which of my students is more powerful, more brilliant, which of them is lazy, which of them is, from IQ point of view, which of them is not too much powerful. So I have an assessment for myself, and I can say it, and I can go to the office and talk to the manager of the school that in my school, for example, brother Musapur is the most brilliant one and he is going to get the highest mark. That is not your mark, brother Musapur, because they are waiting for the mark. They have just wrote the papers and they are waiting. So please don't use this for the highest mark that you have. But I can guess that. If I have 10 students or 20 students, I have an analyzation for myself that at the end of the year, Mr. A will have the A mark. And I can predict it and I know it. And 100% that happens. Normally, all of this knowledge that the what you call teachers have concerning the students, normally it happens according to the knowledge of the teacher. That doesn't mean that the teacher has played any role in the happening of that story. If he become first in the class, it was not a decision by the teacher. It's just that the teacher knew that when I have these questions, definitely he will have all get marked properly, so he will get the right number and the right marks. It doesn't mean the knowledge of somebody which is directly deals with the actual happening of that story. It's just that Allah knew and knows that what is going to be my decisions in future. All of my decisions are known by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is just enough for prediction. For predictions, we just need one knowledge of decisions. If we just knew that in the lottery, what is the decision concerning that one number, we all going to become a millionaire overnight. If all of us, we knew that tomorrow how much dollar will be, if we just knew, if I just know that tomorrow what is going to be the rate of dollar, if I just know that, then what happened? I will buy or I not buy. So I will be, under any circumstances, I will save money. If I don't have the knowledge, then I might buy and tomorrow I lose. So the whole issue of predictions is based on the knowledge of decisions, and that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has. He just knows what is going to be the decisions of everyone in the future. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
My ummah, he will say, Rasulullah on that day, even though we've strayed from him and his way. My brothers, my sisters in Islam, let's struggle, work and pray.